YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of Invisible Head Investing. My name is Carlos, and today we're talking about two stocks that I'm watching this week that I think are prime candidates for a major bounce back after being massively sold off. So before we get started, hey guys, if you want to get some free stock, click on the link below and create a new account with Webull. You get two free stocks worth between $2.50 up to $250 just for creating an account. Now, if you deposit $100, you get an additional two stocks worth between $8 and $1,600. That's a pretty good return on your investment. Thanks for supporting the channel. Now let's get back to it. Okay guys, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about two stocks that I think should be closely watched this week. So we're going to take a look at the charts today and see why I think these two stocks have major upside potential based on the technicals. Okay guys, so the first stock we're looking at today is Zoom, and I think Zoom is a prime candidate for a major bounce back. We're going to see some kind of bounce back this week in my opinion, and then there's potential for major long-term upside as well. So let's take a look at the 180 chart, and we can see here, let me zoom in a little bit, we can see here that Zoom today and yesterday kind of bottomed out at this line of support. This line goes back towards the beginning of September, and we can see here that Zoom spiked massively back at this time right around the earnings call, and then it had a major drop off or major pullback, and there was a major support line right around the 350 range. It bounced back, it bounced from here and kind of didn't go back until most recently. I mean, we saw a couple of times where it got close. It bounced a couple of times at the 365 range, but we hadn't seen this price point since about 3.5 months ago. And we can see here, Zoom came down, but it actually went down to recent lows. Let's take a look at the 5-day chart just to get a better idea as to what the price action's been doing lately. And we can see here that yesterday and today, going into today, we hit a low of 348.18, just below the 350 line. Yesterday the stock closed right around the 349 range, and it bounced a little bit, and then today it hit 348.18 right before the open, and then after the open it kind of spiked up, came back down to that 350, tested it a couple of times. Okay, so if we look at the 1 day 1 minute chart, we can see here that we tested this 350 support a few times between yesterday and today. It dipped slightly below that 350 support a couple of times yesterday, and it dipped even lower today. So this was a really important bounce when the market opened, because if the stock didn't bounce and it resisted, then the stock was surely to go back down. But what happened, it blew right through that support line, came back down, it tested it, almost tested it here, came a little lower here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times it came pretty close to that 350 or at that 350 and below, and it always kind of just consolidated or bounced back up. And now we can see here that it's starting to trend upward a little bit. We had a sell-off at the end of the day, right before market close. It came down to 350, 250 roughly. And then we can see after market, it's starting to go up. It's around 355 right now. So I think this stock is gearing up for a run. Now, I know there's been a lot of reports out there. People have been talking about Zoom's forecast for next year isn't as promising. The growth is slowing down, but it's still growing. With the vaccine coming out, more people are going to go back to work. Let me tell you guys something. I'm a real estate broker, and I can tell you from what I see around where I live, a lot of commercial buildings, especially office buildings, are shut down. They're vacant. A lot of companies are not renewing their leases, or they're not going to renew their leases because, as we all know, studies have been done and it's been shown that people are actually being more productive working from home and working remotely. So do I think some people will, a lot of companies will bring people back to work? Yes, but I don't think it'll be at the levels as before the Roni hit. I think that there will be some companies, potentially a lot of companies, that will allow their employees to work remotely, maybe give them the option. I think there'll be less travel. I think it's going to take a long time for the travel industry to bounce back because of the Roni. I think that a lot of companies are going to look at their bottom line and say, hey, we can save a lot of money in travel expenses real estate expenses, real estate fees, leases, and just allow our employees to work remotely and work from home. And so, I think Zoom has a lot going for it in the long term. This reaction, I think, is a combination of profit taking. We're reaching the end of the year. So I think some people are taking their profits, and I think other people are kind of speculating that, there is going to be a downturn in Zoom's growth, which, yes, there will be some kind of downturn. I do expect that. But at the same time, I don't think it'll be as severe or to the levels of, pre-Roni. I think that will be somewhere in the middle. So I'm not saying that the stock will bounce back to $588 anytime soon. So let's take a look. We've dropped down roughly 40%, since the October highs up until now. I think that's a major drop off. If we look at the RSI has been greatly oversold recently. It's just approaching the 30 level now. And I think that this stock has a good potential to bounce back to maybe the 450 mark, probably around 450 to 475. I think the first test is going to be right around this 415 resistance line. And then from there, if it breaks through that, it'll go right up to this 445 to 460 range. I think that's kind of where the stock will top off, at least in the next few weeks, in my opinion. I do see some bounce back potential. Could see a turnaround. The new year comes, we could see another drop off as more people take profits before it bounces back and climbs up to these levels. So I'm not saying this is a good day trade opportunity, but more of a good swing trade opportunity. And those that are holding long term think there's massive potential here for at least a 25% increase over the next 12 months, if not more. Because like I said, these levels are not, as people go back to work, I don't think that Zoom will continue to grow at the same levels it was growing when the Roni started. But like I said, I think that, you're going to see some people or a lot of companies keep their employees at home or give them the option. I think that companies are going to be looking at their bottom line, especially after this Roni situation. A lot of companies have been hurt financially. And I think that they're going to be looking at where they can cut costs. And two of the areas that they can cut costs are real estate fees based on leases, or if they own buildings, they might be looking to sell those buildings, and use that to cut some of their overhead, as well as travel expenses. I think there's going to be a big drop in a lot of company travel expenses. So, okay, the second company we're looking at today is Alibaba. Now, I made a video a couple of days ago about this company, and I predicted that the stock had bottomed out, and we can see here that long term, over the last 6 or 7 months or so, that the 213, 212, 213 area was a major support for Alibaba. We can see going back here to June, beginning of June, and again towards the end of June, the stock had tested these levels and bounced back, and actually went on a massive run after that. And now, because of all the news going on in China with the antitrust allegations, with the Chinese government investigating them, and everything going on with the Ant Group, we saw this major sell-off. Actually, news came out recently about a class action lawsuit against Alibaba. Tom Nash, another YouTuber, made an interesting video about that. I suggest you guys go over to his channel and check it out. But we're looking here strictly at the technicals. And like I said, this 210, 212 line right here looks like it's acting as a major support. Earlier on it was more of a resistance, but since June, the stock hasn't gone below that point. Okay, and we saw today, let's go to the one-day chart. We can see here that it opened $5 higher in the pre-market than where the market closed in the after hours, and it consolidated for a bit and then just kind of started trending upward. Okay, and it was kind of consolidating going into the aftermarket hours here. So we saw a decent increase today of over 6%, and I think that this trend is going to continue. We saw that this stock was massively oversold. If we look on the 5-day chart, we can see that it's starting to trend upwards again. Okay, that we pretty much bottomed out at this support. We broke through the next line of resistance, and it's trending upwards. So I think that this stock has potential of hitting the 260 to 270 range. Again, it's hard to predict when it's going to happen or when it's going to get to that point. But I think right around here, I think this area right here, the 280, could become a strong resistance. We can see that the stock hit 280 here and then dropped off again before breaking through. And then over here, again, it hit around that 280, 281 price point, and then kind of just sold off dramatically. So this is pretty much the area that I'm kind of focusing on right now, that I think this stock could rebound to, you know, in the next few weeks. So again, these are really good swing trade opportunities that I think are prime for the taking. You know, do your own due diligence, do your own research, make sure that you invest levels that you're comfortable with. But this is basically what I'm going to be doing in the next couple of weeks. I do have a pretty large position in Zoom, and I have a small position in Alibaba. And the reason I don't have a higher position in Alibaba is because my position in Zoom is so much higher. So if Zoom trends upward more quickly than Alibaba, I might lock in some profits on Zoom and you know, build my position in Alibaba maybe long term, you know, over the next couple of months or so anyway. I want to see what happens with the market going into the spring. I think that we're going to see a lot of volatility after the new year. The market's going to correct because it's been on fire. A lot of people are going to be taking profits. But then going into the spring market, we should hopefully see some stabilization, and we'll see what happens. Okay, guys, that's it. So I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching this video. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys are planning on doing. Do you guys plan on buying some of this stock? Do you plan on swing trading it? Do you plan on holding long term? Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, as well as turn on notifications. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.